Hello guys, welcome to my channel. I hope everything's okay in your life. In this video you will find an updated version of series I prepared in the previous years. You're in luck for listening to the explanation because I felt the need to quickly discuss the content of the video. Each video will feature an interview with a class master about either the succession or awakening versions of a class. All videos, including the older ones, will be available in the playlist you see on the screen. You can find the link of the playlist in the pinned comment section. The purpose of this video series is to help you understand the basic role of the class within the game. I must clarify that it is not a deeply detailed guide. You will watch an interview in a conversational style aimed at answering the fundamental questions of those interested in playing a class. The class masters featured are experienced players who have dedicated thousands of hours to their class and to the Black Desert Online. You may recognize some and not the others, but unfamiliarity does not make them bad players. All the class masters mentioned have proven themselves in Black Desert Online world. Please be respectful when sharing your thoughts. Enjoy watching.
Delore La Sylvia. Your ambitions will lead to your destiny. Now take the hand of the distorted goddess. The cold star shall arise once more. Over my kingdom of Calphion.
Hello guys, welcome. In this interview, we will be talking about Awakening Nova. Our guest is Pawel. Today, we will be talking the player everyone is curious about. Overall, the Awakening Nova is the best class in the game for almost everything. Pawel will try to explain why she is one of the best in the game, what are the cons and pros about the class. Also, we will discover together if Pawel is actually AI or a human being. Welcome Pawel, how are you?
Hello, I'm Pawel. I'm from Poland. I'm playing on an EU server. I'm not actually IE, but people think I am, and that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, tons of trash loose difference between normal players. People think that you are AI, and no matter how you can push the class, if you push, it's take. If you push, it takes, and you're just showing it that you're just taking like 20% more trash than other people.
That's just the class being broken and rewarding skill. Effort.
Exactly. Okay, let's start from the first question. May you please introduce yourself? Who is Pawel? Where are you from? Which server are you playing at?
Hello, I'm Pawel. I'm from Poland. I'm playing on an EU server. I've been playing for the past 6 years, and I've been enjoying the class Nova for a long time now.
Thank you, thank you. So how did you find out of BDO, and what caught your interest to stay in BDO?
So back in 2018, I was looking for a new MMORPG, since I needed something to keep time when I started my university. And out of all MMORPGs I checked, BDO seemed to be the most interesting, and I just enjoyed the gameplay pattern, and not being forced to do dailies or weeklies, not being forced to do raids, to wait hours for other people. I thought that was very fun. That's what made me stay.
Thank you very much. Have you ever taken a break from playing BDO? If so, what motivated you to come back?
I took a 1 year break. I got burnt out and I didn't want to bother with the FS and other things like that. And I was also busy with my real life, but then I came back after about 1 year. I came back when a second season was going on, and I've been playing ever since then.
Thank you. How long have you been playing the class you're currently playing? Have you tried any other classes?
I have been playing Nova since her release, especially once Awakening came out. Before Nova, I used to play Awakening and Succession Sork, and that's basically it. I also tried many other classes like Kunoichi, Meiwa, Guardian, Megu, but I've enjoyed Nova even more after playing other classes.
Okay. What sets the class you play apart from the other classes? What is a special thing in Awakening Nova?
Lots of freedom, how you move, how you use skills, because on most classes I noticed that you usually have 2-3 main skills and everything else is a filler, and you don't have much choice. You go DP debuff, you go one skill, and it doesn't flow nicely. But on Nova, everything is CC, movement, and damage at the same time. You have lots of choice. You have 2 skills that shred DP. You have lots of fast movement, back and forward very fast, lots of conal AoE, so you gotta aim actually. I think that's very interesting to play.
Thank you. Is your class evasion or damage reduction, or both playable, and why?
As of now, it's only damage reduction. I think it might change with the upcoming rework, but I'm not really sure about that. So the reason for her being only damage reduction is because she has a damage reduction passive. She has very low base evasion. She has 0 accuracy self buffs. Her only evasion debuff is very small range and doesn't really hit anything. It's also unprotected, and that's basically it.
Thank you. What is your current gear score? Do you rush your progress or go with the flow when it comes to gear progression?
I am a 744 gear score right now. I'm never really rushing. Whenever new content comes out, I just wait for the hype to die out, and then I start grinding. For example, with the new content being deboarding, I've only spent 23 hours grinding for it actually. Most of the other hours were spent doing fun things like sometimes PvP, sometimes other mid-game sports, Stars and Kratuga, things like that. So I think I'm just chilling, waiting, enjoying myself, and then going for the grind whenever I feel like it.
Thank you. So is your class newbie friendly? On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate its difficulty? If you want, you can separate and compare Succession and Awakening together.
I definitely would say that Nova isn't newbie friendly. I think the skill pool is quite high, and most people, even the ones experienced with the game, will struggle a lot with getting used to how she plays. That said, I think many new players might find her interesting, but also very hard on their hands because APM is quite high. Yeah, and when it comes to Succession, it's much easier to play, but it's also performing very poorly in both PvE and PvP right now, so I wouldn't really recommend it to anyone.
Thank you. While I'm talking with my viewers on Twitch, they are asking me how was Nova. I'm just saying that Nova is one of the best class in the game overall, doing everything very, very good in every stage. Sometimes S+, sometimes S++ is good. And they're just asking why no one playing the class. And I don't know if you agree this part. I'm just answering this question like this. Learning the skills, getting used to them is not that hard, but the controlling class, getting used to that APM, and controlling that movement, the fast mobility thing, and also at the end, the freestyle gameplay is forcing people to just left that class. Do you agree with that?
Yes, definitely. I think what pulls people away from the class is inputs are weird. You go tap press SQ a lot, SF a lot, and then whenever you use the skill, you can't use it again until the cooldown comes off. So you gotta track all the skills, and it's not like some classes where you only use 3-4 skills. You're using the whole kit. You're also even using pure arcaning sometimes. And I think most people struggle with tracking so many cooldowns because with Axel added, you get like 12 skills to use and track them all and then decide if it's good or not good to use them.
Yeah, in these days, Perlabis is just pushing people to just play the classes basic and simple. Like you have one infinite combo, and that's just being okay for almost any spot. You don't need just different add-ons or something if you're not min-maxing. And all the new classes, when we check like Mayaguvusa, like Scholar, one combo is generally being enough for everything. And for Awakening Nova, whenever people encounter that like freestyle gameplay, it's making their game is harder, and I think they don't want to just experience that hard gameplay.
Yes, that's what it seems to me like. But that's actually what I like about the class, so it's a funny thing.
Okay, we talk in the basics of Awakening Nova. Let's go a little bit deeper. We are curious about your thoughts on the PvE situation of the class you're playing, Awakening Nova. Could you provide us with detailed information separately for early, mid, and end game?
So for early game, I think she is like either top 1 or top 2 for most spots. So for spots like Upper Secretariat on Centaurs, Saxzerker will perform better. But on most other spots, Valencia one-shot spots, Holy Forest, Fadus, Bloodwolves, Potion spots, Ronaros, Nova is just as good as Succession Zerker. And so whenever someone plays Seasons, I'm like, please play Awakening Nova. It's literally the best choice. And for mid game, I say in mid-game there's no competition. Nova is literally the best class there. I think there are some classes that can come close, but it doesn't compare at all. She has all the tools necessary to perform very well. A high DPS, fast movement, low cooldowns, conal AoE in front of the class, and she also has disadvantages that actually harm her in endgame, but those are actually pretty good in mid-game. So those would be low base AP, low accuracy, but PA to compensate for that gave her very high percent numbers on skills. So that means that in spots that have low DR or spots that are hard capped like Elvia spots, she is performing very well because her damage is off the charts. She's dealing way more damage than she should. And when it comes to endgame, I think where most of her strengths just go away. For example, you don't use movement, you use AoE, you use 360 AoE in endgame. Nova doesn't really have that. You don't get to abuse low cooldowns because you wait 10 seconds for the wave. So many classes that have longer cooldowns can afford to use them like that. Nova can't. And also Axel is actually not helping in endgame because anytime you don't attack mobs, you lose damage on Nova. And you lose Axel, and then you gotta get it back, and that's a DPS loss. But even through all those things I said, I think endgame Nova is very good, especially when you have spots like Tungrat Ruins or Dark Seekers, where DPS actually matters. She's very good, but when it comes to Dekia spots, like she can be good. I've reached the cap on many of those spots, but for most people I would just recommend to pick something easier like Witch. Because even though the clash might be the same, I think the easiness of play is comparably way worse on Nova.
Thank you very much. So let's talk about PvP. We are curious about your thoughts on the PvP situation of the class you're playing. Could you provide us with detailed information separately for 1v1, 1vx, AOS, 5v5, Guild League, Siege, and War of the Roses?
So I'll preface my answer with the following. I'm not a mine PvP player, I'm mostly PvE, and the only PvP I do is actually small scale BA, AOS, open world, sometimes Ultra. So here I go. In 1v1, I think Nova is very good. She has lots of tools, very fast, hard to catch, had vacuums, ranged grab, ice wall, lots of things, lots of tools she can use against most classes. And her damage skills are mostly unprotected, which isn't a problem in 1v1 because she can use them once she catches someone, and she can just delete people without them being able to react. When it comes to 1vx, I think she's good, but the moment you get slowed, you kinda die instantly. Due to Axel, Nova's movement is unprotected, so it's very easy to punish her. When it comes to Arena of Solar, I'd say she's not a class that can solo carry a match, but she's definitely a very useful class to have. Lots of good catches, vacuums, utility, freezes, grabs. Also being able to mostly when I play hours, I'm top of the CC in my comp. Also having good damage, not usually top damage, second, first. And I think for most people who try hours, I would say she's not something like Sack Sage or Awakening Dark that can just go in and delete people or Awakening Megu. She's more like something like, I mean, it's a weird comparison, but I would say something like Shai. Then you pick her for the utility she brings, not especially for the damage or deleting people. When it comes to Guild League, I think she's good, but she needs gear. Basically, the gameplay looks like you're just standing there up for 30 seconds. You stack your Axel, you stack your ebuff, you pop everything, go in, delete people instantly, and then you go back to waiting 1 minute. For me personally, that's not fun, but she works, and that's fine. She can't really do mind ball, but she's mostly flanking. And for people who enjoy that, I think it's a very good choice. And when it comes to Node Wars, World of the Roses, Siege, I think Awakening Nova is not the best play. I mean, in Uncapped, she can do well. She has very high damage on good gear, but T1, T2, very bad damage. I can't recommend. She's also mostly unprotected. No items, no forward guards. She just dies when she goes in. She can flank, but she can kill people. Unless you're a dedicated player that can really spend a lot of time and effort playing her, I would recommend other classes for that type of content.
Thank you. And for large scale like Node, Siege, and War of the Roses, people may compare like these type of flank classes with Witch, Wizard, or that type of like main ball, main Zerg classes. They're completely built different. Like in Awakening Nova and maybe in Uncapped Scene, you can maybe go in like a kamikaze, like you go in, just deal a little bit damage because class is fast, deal back attack burst damage, and you're gonna die at all. It is so hard to just go out from there because you're not that much tanky. But people should understand that these type classes, they are flank, and if they're doing their flank job is good, it's making them okay for PvP for large scale. We cannot just expect them to be like like a witch and wizard. Their job is a little bit different, and we have to understand that the job difference, the class difference creates different jobs, and it's just making their duty is different than the other one.
I know, that's why I said like Uncapped, T4, she's very good on flanking, but T1 and T2, she just doesn't have damage to kill people when she flanks. She's mostly a CC bot, and I don't think that's something you wanna see from a flanking class.
I get it. So thank you so much. Let's talk about different things. Is there a significant strong aspect of the class you're playing or weakness? In short term, what is the strongest and what is the weakest thing in your class?
So the strongest is definitely movement. She moves so fast that people complain about the things a lot. If you've ever played Nova versus Nova on Battle Arena, it's a mess. You can't see anything. That's fun for me, of course, and when it comes to her weaknesses, is definitely low base AP, low accuracy. So there's a joke when you play against Eva class, you need 5 accuracy accessories and accuracy offhand to even deal damage to them. And by then you don't deal damage to anyone who has DR, so that's a funny thing. Also, lack of items, lack of forward guards. You basically go in and you look for any super armor for half of the time, and half of the time unprotected. So you basically die unless you have gear.
I get it.
That's it.
Are there any classes that clearly dominate the class you're playing? And are there any classes that you clearly dominate them? In other words, what are the counter matchups for you?
I think the classes that I struggle the most against are, of course, evasion stackers. Also classes that have spammable slows and range grabs, or very good SA trading potential. So I'd say I struggle against Awakening Musa, against Valk, against Awakening Hashashin. That's it. And when it comes to classes that I perform well against, is basically every class that have some gaps in their kit, and classes that can't really go evasion, because then I can just pump all my stats into AP and delete them before they're able to react.
I get it, thank you. Is there a mechanics or skill in your class that you would like to be buffed or nerfed?
So that's a funny thing. I think whenever PA was boosting Nova for the past 2 years, they have always been targeting access keys. They have ignored non-access keys a lot. So it came to a point where they have a skill called Access Flash that got buffed from 15,000% damage to 44,000% damage. And even then, you don't use it. The other thing is all the access keys got buffed time and time again, while non-access keys got ignored. So we're in a state right now where you're not actually suffering because you do nothing. And it wasn't always the case. we used to spend half of the time without access and it was fine. We weren't really losing DPS. Now it's not the case anymore. I think PS should really address it and maybe revert some access buffs and actually buff the other part of the kit, because keeping class in a state like this, I think is not good for the health of the class and it's not good for new people trying out the class because they will give up the moment they lose Axel. It shouldn't be like that.
Thank you. Can we get a brief summary of good and bad things about Awakening Nova? Let's say that I want to reroll to Awaken Nova and I'm newbie or returnee, I don't have that much high experience. What should I expect from Nova?
Lots of fun. I think anyone who grinds in this game a lot will find it very enjoyable to do it on Nova because it's actually fun, it's engaging, it demands some actual effort, and it's very nice, especially in short sessions like 1, 2, 3 hours of grinding. For longer grinding sessions, I wouldn't recommend it, but for shortest, it's perfect. And when it comes to bad things from playing Nova, I think most people complain about hand pain, wrist pain, and I think most people with low mouse sensitivity, it would help them to use higher mouse sensitivity because you have tons of moments where you gotta turn around 180 degrees with your mouse, your camera, and it's very helpful when you have high sensitivity so you don't have problems with that and avoid the pains.
Thank you very much. We talked many things about Awakening Nova and they were priceless. Let's talk about BDO itself. What are your thoughts on BDO's current situation from past until now?
So I doubt many people will agree with what I'm about to say, but as a PvP player mainly, this is what I got to say. Back like 4 or 5 years ago, we were in a meta in PvE where we only had like 1-2 viable grind spots with little to no skill expression. Everyone was getting the same no matter the class. Like Gachas, his just 1000 days. Then we got Evia, we still were in a similar meta with Orcs being good, but over the next 1-2 years, we got a very good meta, very balanced ones. When you had tens of viable spots, I did enjoy that. That's where I also made most of my videos, and I think in the past 1-2 years we've been getting away from that, back to the roots. I'd say we had very hard cut, we had a lot of hard cut spot released, lots of tower spots with zero skill expression. I'd say little to no variation, lots of RNG, and all the odd spot they kept getting nerfed. I even have a list with 15 spots nerfed for fun. I keep track of that actually. And when it comes to silver per hour, we moved from lots of spots having similar income to 2 spots, mainly Dekia, Ash, and Crypt, being so much better than everything else that I think anyone who isn't grinding them is making a big mistake if they want to prioritize silver per hour. And I think from that perspective, the game has been moving in a good direction, but lately it's just going downhill. And for one, I'm not enjoying it, but I understand that this isn't the experience for most of people, and most people are actually enjoying it. So that's what I said. And looking at the game holistically, I think when it comes to quality of life changes, it's good. When it comes to PvP, it's bad. PA has been trying very hard to kill open world PvP and move it all into instanced cap content like Arena of Solar, like Guild Leaks, like Node Wars, like Arsha servers, and I don't think this is good for the longevity of the game when PA is trying to target both competitive PvP players and PvE players, and is only catering to casual players. And I don't think this is good for the game, but who am I to speak, right? I'm not the one deciding about the game.
Thank you. So what do you think that TA is actually doing bad and good? If you were in charge, let's say that you are a new Mr. J, what would you like to add or remove?
Well, like I said before, I think they're targeting casual player base too much, and usually when games lose their player base, this is what happens. I think they should focus about the core player base, the veteran player base that has been leaving the game. Of course, not all old people are leaving, but that's how it feels to me, at least. I also feel like they, especially in the last year, they have been pushing very hard into pay-to-win territory. So, for example, we got pay-to-win fences, farming costume, Friday costume, crystal recovery, also value pack, old moon book, costumes going higher, massive blessing. I think it's just too much. And if they need to do all this to keep the game afloat, I think there's something really wrong in the game, and they should try to fix that instead.
Thank you. What advice would you like to give newbies, returnees, and other players in the game?
So, the most important, anyone playing the game, please enjoy the journey. Don't care about gear. Gear will come by itself. You don't have to do anything. Just play the game, do some grinding, do some PvP, do some life skills. Do whatever you like. There's no rush. And for new players, don't try to rush. Endgame doesn't really matter. Most people will drop the game before 700 gear score. Game is all about gearing up, but you don't need to do it fast. You're not competing with anyone. PvP is capped. You can enjoy most most of the content after playing for 2 months in the game. The moment you get to endgame, the game basically ends because there's nothing to do. And when it comes to returning players, I'd say if you guys drop the game because of gambling or RNG or pay to win, those things are still in the game. Unless you enjoyed the gameplay loop, you enjoyed the grind, PvP, then you can come back for a month or two, enjoy yourself, and then drop the game again. Because what can I say? Not much has changed for good in that aspect.
Thank you very much. So we are reaching the end of the interview. Is there anything else you would like to add before we finish?
Nothing really. Thank you for inviting me to the interview. I hope you have a nice day. And to everyone listening, I hope you have a nice day too.
Alright, mi amigos, like Pawel was the guest and he shared his thoughts about Awaken Nova and about BDO itself. And we understand that Pawel is not AI, he's human being. He shared his thoughts and thank you so much for this interview.
Thank you.
Alright guys, do not forget, BDO is just a game. Have a nice game.